Homeowners looking to transition to a new home sometimes forget that it's not as simple as just moving from your old home into a new home. No, however, what's recently gained quite a bit of steam is taking on pricey bridge funding to allow you the flexibility to move, to buy a new home while still owning your existing home. The problem is that most people don't want to shell out that 10 to 20 grand in bridge funding. Now, there's other ways around that, which we discussed in another video, but this particular video is just about how to avoid bridge funding and all the other holding costs, purchase contingencies, and then the real risks associated with buying a new home before you've sold your existing home. So this is what's called a concurrent closing. So sometimes wrongly referred to as a simultaneous closing, technically speaking. Okay, but simply put, a concurrent closing is purchasing the new home the same exact day or within a couple days that you sell your existing home, so that the closing occurs essentially the same exact time. This is financially a slam dunk because not only do you not need to get bridge funding, but you also don't need to move all your belongings into storage, move it back out of storage, pay double the mortgage, double the utilities, property taxes, lawn care, all the other costs required in a transition in which you're on title for two separate homes. I mean, it all happens at the same exact time. So that your moving truck is going to pick up from your old house and deliver straight to the new house. Your mortgage and liability in the old house ends the same exact day that it all kicks in at the new house. I mean, we are talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars saved here. So how can you pull this off? How does it work? Well, pay attention, because we're going to actually break this all down on a granular level. Selling and buying homes concurrently means that the money needs to be wired to several different accounts in immediate succession. So this gets complex. Some of these steps may very well vary depending on the situation, but here's the most vanilla way that it could possibly go down. So first, you're going to find someone to buy your old home. At closing, their lender is going to wire money to the closing attorney or escrow company. If there's any existing mortgage on your home, then the title company is going to take the money from your buyer's bank and pay off your mortgage. When that's paid off, the mortgage company releases their lien on the home. With the home now free of any mortgage or liens, the title company can now convey title to the buyer of your old home. And at this point, they now own your old home. So after the escrow company disperses funds for the closing of your home, you, the seller, are credited any additional net proceeds from the sale of the home, right? So now you're ready to put on that buyer's hat. The escrow company that has the net proceeds from your old home now transfers that to the closing of your new home. Now, unless your net proceeds from the old home, meaning the amount that you received after the existing mortgage got paid off that you originally had, is equal to or greater than the price of your new home, then you're going to need to go out and also get another mortgage for the new home. So after they complete, the bank of your new mortgage on the new home, they complete their underwriting on you as a buyer and do their appraisals and inspections, then they are now going to wire over the money to the escrow company to purchase the new home. All right, so then the title company then uses those funds to pay off the seller's mortgage and allow the seller to convey a clear title to you. So with the clear title, the title company can now deed the home, your new home, over to you and record it at the county office. Now that the deed is transferred and recorded, any remaining funds that weren't used to pay off the underlying mortgage are given to the seller of your new home. So the reason that this crazy day of shuffling money, mortgages, and liens between about 7 different parties is so awesome is because there is no overlap of ownership. And as you probably very well know, that's what making changing ownership the most stressful. I mean, do you move your belongings into storage until the second close happens? Are you ready to pay for both mortgages, HOAs, utilities, insurance policies? I mean, well, this is your ticket out of it. Hey, is this video stressing you out? Well, if so, shoot me a quick like and subscribe. The painfully obvious problem here is that this is extremely difficult to do. And so many things are out of your control. There's so many steps involved in closing an escrow for one property. A concurrent closing doubles that number. And now let's just get back to the real world and talk about what happens when this goes all wrong. For example, what if a buyer of your old home also needs to sell their home before buying your home? Well, now the steps just tripled. Now, let's just assume again that the same thing for the seller of your new home's future purchase. They're doing the same thing that you and the buyer are doing. Well, now we're dealing with 4 different homeowners involved in the same closing, each with 2 sets of lenders and their own contingencies and terms and everything else. So that's a total of 16 to 24 properties, involved in the process for one single closing. So here's really where the nightmare of your life consummates and occurs, is that any one of these 4 parties and their lenders now require additional appraisals, surveys, and or documentation to complete the closing process on one of these 3 homes. Well, now all 4 of the parties' closings are now brought to an immediate halt. As I'm sure you can tell, concurrent closings are usually wrought with problems, and often they do result in really blowing up multiple transactions at the same exact time. And so we think it's extremely risky to try this maneuver, and much more recommended in just dealing with adding on a seller contingency onto your contracts. I mean, even if 75% of sellers reject that offer because of it, it's just not worth the hassle of doing a concurrent closing, right? Obviously, if you can just sell to a high-priced cash buyer, or somebody like ourselves or whoever in your market, then you can also just entirely avoid the need for bridge funding or pulling off some crazy ploy like a concurrent closing requires. Okay. Either way, reach out to us or just your local realtor, and they might be able to help navigate this process with you.